Hello, this is Spellbinder with this update on the shooter that wasn't anything, actually. It's starting to come out now that he was just a lone nut who was probably had a handler. We believe he may have had a handler. It seems like the liberal smear machine backfires out of gunman found to be an occultist, pot-smoking left-winger. He was actually a left-winger, a Democrat lover. As Democrats muster the assault of the First and Second Amendments in the wake of the shooting, Republican Gabriel Giffords and others in Arizona, a tidal wave of information about the alleged shooter is now finding its way into the media. Democrats and liberals talking heads have taken Raul Emero's maxim to heart. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Even if it wasn't us, we're going to use it for our purpose. More gun control, less rights for the citizen, so the New World Order can rule us. That's about what's coming down the pipe. And are attempting to portray Jared Lee Loughner as a right-winger who shot Giffords because she is a Democrat and an Obamacare supporter. In fact, the truth is the exact opposite. Classmates described Loughner as a left-wing pothead who was a disruptive presence in class. In a tweet, fellow student Katie Parker said the accused gunman was quite liberal and a political radical. He listed Hitler's Mein Kampf and Marx's Communist Manifesto as his favorite books. He also subscribed to the liberal religion of animal rights. Loughner worked as a volunteer at the Pima Animal Care Center in Tucson, according to reports. But it's not simply leftist radicalism and worship of die-hard socialists like Marx and Hitler that motivated Loughner. It turns out he was also into the occult. Hidden within the camouflage tent behind Jared Lee Loughner's home sits an alarming altar with a skull sitting atop a pot filled with shriveled oranges, reports New York Daily News today. Experts on Sunday said the elements are featured in the ceremonies of a number of occult groups. Human skulls and animal sacrifices are important elements in the pagan ritual of Santeria, or Santeria. I'm just going to have to say it. Also known as voodoo. Fruit also plays an important role in the Santeria rituals. In addition, Loughner claimed to be a homosexual. In post on the uber liberal website Daily Chaos, he wrote, "Not a single issue voter, but if I was, gay rights would be it. I just want Democrats to be tough, and I wish Obama were tougher, that's all. I'm a proud gay." His Daily Chaos handle was Boy Blue. According to the news and talk radio station WCBM in Maryland, Daily Chaos attempted to scrub Loughner's commitments. The leftists at the Obama-supporting Daily Chaos tried to cover up Loughner's leftist leanings and wasted no time in deleting his page from their website, but it was able to grab it from the Google cache, explains a post on the website. Regardless of all this, the liberal corporate media insist on portraying Loughner as a conservative, though he was an ultra-liberal. Loughner echoes concern of Tea Party movement, The Guardian declared over the weekend. The corporate media has strived to link Loughner's action to Sarah Palin, the diva of the manufactured Tea Party movement, which she wasn't. It was actually Ron Paul who was the true leader of it, and the true ideals that are been since then blurred of what Ron Paul had in mind. In an election season campaign literature, Pauline's PAC used gun sites on maps of the United States, altering regions of the country to be targeted by established Republicans. Liberal Front alternate pointed to Loughner's disjointed rants about currency in order to make the case that he is a dangerous gold and silver radical. Mark Potok of the Southern Poverty Law Center, another anti-American center, argued that the idea of constitutional money was responsible for so much violence in the 1990s. It linked the core patriot theory, and the Federal Reserve is actually a private corporate run and benefit of the unnamed international banksters, though. On Sunday, the media attempted to connect Loughner to the anti-Semitic, anti-government hate group that has ads for Tea Party organizations on its website, according to the liberal website Political. The group's website featured what appeared to be paid advertisements for Tea Party versions of the Don't Tread on Me flag. The Tea Party did not invent the Gladstone flag. The flag was designed and is named after the American general and statesman Christopher Gladstone. It was also used by the United States Marine Corps as the early motto flag. The unsubstantiated connection and the purported racist organization was made by the Department of Homeland Security in order to minimize the emerging portrait of the killer as a deranged leftist, set the stage for efforts to curtail political speech in the United States. The DHS leaked a memo containing accusations of the corporate media on Sunday. In 2009, the Department of Homeland Security reported on the right-wing extremism was leaked to the media. It attempted to link the patriot groups to violence, racism, and white supremacy. The corporate media is now engaged in the frontal assault against the First Amendment and political speech, according to the U.S. News and World Report. It would be a folly to treat the shooting as though it had nothing to do with the sort of violence-themed and insightful rhetoric employed by some leaders of the followers of the Tea Party. That's right, they want to demonize everyone that's American in apple pie and baseball. Yes, they want to take that all away and turn you into a Nazi Russian country of 50 years ago, and gulags everywhere. According to the New York Times, in-house Kinsayan and unabashed worshipper of the state, Paul Krugman, we should not be surprised by the shooting. When you heard the terrible news from Arizona, were you completely surprised, or were you at some level expecting something like this atrocity to happen? It is the eliminationist rhetoric of the Republicans and Tea Party movement, according to Krugman, that led to the murder of an innocent child and others in Arizona. See how they're demonizing the American patriot? They're out to demonize us because they can't handle us. We're too powerful for them. We want our country back, and they want to take it away and turn us into a Stasi Nazi country. In addition to the trashing of the Second Amendment, liberals and Democrats are calling for rolling back the First Amendment in response to the shooting. See, they want to take away your First Amendment right and your Second Amendment right. Oh my God, just think if more people were armed when that happened. He wouldn't have got us half as many shots off. He would have been dead way before then. But no, let's take away more guns so we end up like Mexico with 30,000 plus dead now because a citizen's not allowed to own a gun. Representative Bob Brady, a Pennsylvania Democrat, says he plans to introduce a bill criminalizing the use of certain forms of threatening imagery against lawmakers and judges, according to Raw Story. That's right, you hold up a flag of the snake in the background. That may be insulting to them, and they will have you put away in their gulags. Oh, this is just so evil. Threatening imagery, huh? Yeah, I see them when I see a picture of them as threatening to me. Direct threats against presidents are already punishable by law, but the criminalization of forms of imagery are likely to raise important questions about free speech and First Amendment rights. Speaking for the Fox News, father of the 9-year-old girl killed as a result of Loughner's rampage committedly labeled the tragic event as a random act. See, he has sense, but the government has no sense, and said that the death of his daughter should not be exploited to revoke freedoms. There you have it. The father of the child said the same thing. Democrats and liberals, however, should not be expected to heed Mr. Green's warning. The violence and senseless act of deranged man who was all over the board politically will be used to demonize and eventually criminalize the political speech and ideological enemies of the Democrats in the state. It will also be used by the government to make the case that the Americans should not be allowed to exercise Second Amendment because they will gun down a political class doing the bidding of international bankers, propagandists like Mark Potok insist do not exist. There you have it so far. That's one article. Here's another. Oh my God, liberal smear machine backfires after gunman found to be occultist, Republican leftist. The Daily News, a full-scale demonization campaign against conservatives, free speech and Second Amendment on behalf of Democrats in the establishment media in the wake of Saturday's shooting has sensationally backfired after it emerged that the gunman Jared Lee Loughner was a left-wing, pot-smoking liberal who was into dressing like a grim reaper and dabbling in the occult in their favor to tear down the First and Second Amendment. Democrats and their allies in the corporate media hastily characterized Loughner as an anti-government right-winger, though he was an ultra-left-winger like them. And their rush to link him to the Tea Party and Sarah Palin, a connection that is still being invoked by the Dems who rush through the bill that will make criticism of the government a form of hate speech. That's right, you're no longer able to have grievances against your government. You no longer have rights to protest against wrongdoings. This is what they're doing to us right now. This is it. However precisely Alex Jones forecasted show last night, it emerged this morning that Loughner is a devil worshipper, wannabe, idolized fake human skulls, and dressed up like the Grim Reaper. How often do you witness the Tea Party or an anti-government activist or conservative engaging in such behaviors, which confirm they have been conducted by Loughner, burning the American flag, being a left-winger and a liberal, smoking pot, which has nothing really to do with it, having long hair, nothing to do with it, dressing up as a Grim Reaper, kind of freaky, dabbling in the occult and worshipping replicas of a human skull, kind of psychologically freaky, expressing the desire to be a woman, very freaky, describing Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto as his favorite book. Does it sound like Jared Loughner was a right-wing conservative, as a liberal smear machine is attempting to claim? Despite the fact that Loughner's former classmate described him as a quite liberal left-wing, the New York Times Post, along with a host of status blogs like Huffington Post and the Daily Chaos, were beating the drum for so-called right-wingers opponent of Obamacare's big government to be politically silenced in the name of toning down their rhetoric. That's right, we are winning and they can't handle it. We're over the target. In reality, Loughner's political views were all over the map, sharing characteristics of conservatism, liberalism, or whatever. He was fundamentally disturbed and deranged individual, which was the main reason for the carnage he became embroiled in. Not because he was a Tea Partier influenced by the resistance against big government when we should have a little tiny government, as the establishment is now trying to claim, because they want to be your God. The haste with which the attack machine has manufactured Loughner's persona before his name, and even known as a dangerous right-winger, proves that the establishment had already embarked on this sickening plan to exploit tragedy mere minutes after the news and the shooting. It also comes out that the post on her YouTube site was put in after the fact, and they could not find any reference to it by going back and looking. So therefore, it is a Democrat thing to pass new gun control legislation and silence free speech. These Democrats have no end in the government. They are socialist, Marxist, communists themselves, trying to point the finger at everyone else. Remember, he who points the finger is the one who is what he's pointing about. We don't have a clear motive for why Loughner apparently targeted Congressman Giffords. Indeed, since both Giffords and federal judge John Roll were both very conservative in their policies towards gun control and immigration, that's because they were against the Democrats, who are anti-everything that's American and apple pie and freedom. Oh man, another key facet to this story is the fact that Loughner's mental instability was well known on his campus, and they even said that the drug-taking 22-year-old was a potential danger, the former teacher claimed last night. Despite the fact that Loughner's profile is now confirmed as black-clad, occult dabbing, pot-smoking, unstable loner, and similar mode to Combine killers Harrison and Colbert, X7 is still blaming the so-called right-wing radio and talk show hosts for the tragedy, demanding Americans tone down their rhetoric or stop fighting against them and suck them. They want to be serviced, don't you know? Yes, and all this stuff. This is. I'll have all links to these articles and others at the end of this here. I have to say goodbye for now, but this just makes me mad about how they're trying to control us and take our liberties away. Until next time, this is Spellbinder. Be good or be good at it. Good day.